Okay, so we're going to take a look at solving two-step inequalities. We're just going to put addition, subtraction, multiply, and divide all together and do two-step inequalities. So these will be similar to two-step equations, but remember we have to take into account a couple of minor differences. All right, so here is a sample word problem about backpacking. Nearly 10 million Americans go backpacking each year. According to the fitness magazine, to avoid injury, 3 times the weight of your backpack and its contents should be less than your body weight. So in order to write our equation, or inequality in this case, remember that you have to identify the important phrases. So we'll go ahead and highlight 3 times the weight of your backpack and its contents, and then should be less than your body weight. Okay, so the first thing it's asking is write an inequality that represents the relationship between the body weight and the safe total backpack and contents weight. So take a second, again using what we've highlighted here, to write that inequality. Okay, you should have had 3 times the quantity of the pack plus the contents is less than the body weight. So now for B, suppose you weigh 120 pounds and your empty backpack weighs 5 pounds. What inequality would you write to represent the maximum weight you can safely carry in your backpack? So take a second to write that and then continue the video. Alright, you should have had something that looks like this. 3 times the quantity of 5 plus C is less than 20. Alright, so solving a two-step inequality. Here's an example. Make sure you write it down. The only thing I don't agree with here is, and let me get my pen back again, is the fact that they say here to mentally divide each side by 6. I'd rather, actually I insist that you go ahead and show that you're dividing both sides by 6. Okay? But it's the same thing we've been practicing this whole entire time. If you wish to show subtracting 15 from both sides, that's completely fine. However, those of you who are, the mistakes that tend to occur is when you forget the properties of addition and subtraction when you're doing definition of subtraction. So whatever works best for you, but just keep in mind, doing it this way tends to create more errors. So you might want to do it the vertical addition way. Don't forget to check it. Once you get an answer, x is greater than a -1, pick a solution like 0 and plug it in and make sure that it works. And then also you will be asked to graph your solutions. Okay, so remember that you must reverse the inequality symbol if you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a negative number. So the thing we want to, again, not anything different than what we've been doing, but just remember here, since we have -5 times A is less than or equal to 15, when you divide both sides by -5, you have got to reverse this this inequality symbol, and they're pointing it out here in the box too. One way to know that you forgot to do that is when you plug in your check, it's not going to work. So if you find that your check is not giving you an appropriate answer, go back and check to see that you reverse the symbol. And again, pick a number that you can use for the check and then graph the solution down here. Alright, so how does this work with a word problem? Again, we're using our backpack example. Let me find my cursor. There we go. Backpack example. A person weighing 126 pounds has a 6-pound backpack. Refer to the application at the beginning of page 355. Well, that was the 3 times the quantity of P plus C. And so what they did was they 3 times the weight of the pack and its contents should be less than the body weight. So they're just plugging it in, and then they go ahead and solve, and the content should be less than 36 pounds. So let's do a concept check right here. How do you solve an inequality with more than one operation? And we've talked about this before. Even with equations, it's the same answer. So take a second to come up with your answer and then continue the video. All right, you should have answered something like you undo the operations in reverse order. So instead of doing PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you actually start with addition, just like up here, addition and subtraction. So here we subtracted 18 from both sides, and then you do the opposite of multiplication, which is division, to isolate your variable. All right, so try this. Take a couple minutes to figure this out, and then come back and we'll work on this together. All right, so here is a person weighing 213 pounds, has a 10-pound backpack. We're going to use our formula again. 3 times the quantity of P plus C is going to be less than the body weight. All right, so what is the maximum weight for the contents of the pack if you have a 10-pound backpack, 10-pound backpack and you're weighing 213 pounds? So 3 times 10 plus C is less than 213. All right, using distributive property first, so this would be 30 plus 3C is less than 213. We're going to subtract 30 from both sides. And we're going to get 3C is less than 3 minus 0 is 3, 11 minus 3 is 8, and we're left with 1. So 3C is less than 183. We're going to divide by 3 on both sides, and C is going to be less than 61. So our answer is C is less than 61, and if we put that in a check, I'm going to go ahead and put 0 in. Why not? It's easy. So 3 times P plus C is less than B, and plug in everything we know. 3 times 10 plus 0 is less than 213. 10 plus 0 is 10 times 3 is less than 213, and 30 is definitely less than 213. So C is less than 61 is a correct answer, and that's what the answer is. Okay, here is your practice problems to try on your own. Make sure you write down any questions while you're working on these to bring into class, and once you've done these, go ahead and continue the video to see the answers. All right, here are the answers, and we will see you in class.